So that was an amazing group for the group stage. Unfortunately for TomikuS, he didn't do that well, but I believe he picked at least one map of either Snoot or Nerdshell. So his ZvZ is not to be underestimated. And let's take a look at it, as game number 1 is once again going to be played on Abyssal Reef. Over here on the right bottom side, looking in the main base of the Zerg from Czech Republic, it's TomikuS. And over here on the left top side, the man who I thought was a badass Russian. Instead, he's just German, but I'm sure he's still pretty cool. It's Bernie, aka memOryfreak, representing Cascade. And now, I know these guys, and I have casted TomikuS in ZvZ a couple of times, but if you're asking me to, give you guys some in-depth pre-game analysis about what to expect, I can't really do that. That would just be generic chit-chat where there is a good chance one is going to be aggressive and the other one might be a little less aggressive. It really comes down to what they know about each other, which obviously is not something that I'm aware of. And I assume that these are guys that run into each other on ladder as well. memOryfreak is somebody that's hovering around 6K. TomikuS is a player that should be a little bit above that, probably 6,200, 6,300 maybe even 6,400. But I am sure that they've run into each other quite a few times. And all of these people that play each other on ladder, you build up a little personal meta with your opponent, especially in a matchup like ZvZ. So obviously it's going to be hard for me to make some accurate predictions here. What we do see is that our German Zerg, Bernie, has opened up with 6 links, unless I can count. Yep, 6 links it is. He's going to send them via the south side of the map, so he's going to try to surprise TomikuS, who went for the more economic build. Went for a faster hatch. Did not make any links yet, but he has 6 links on the way now. I highly doubt that the links from Bernie are going to be able to get a whole lot done. He took slightly later gas, so I guess things will kind of even out. Just kind of wonder what he's hoping for here. Maybe a queen pick-off, but TomikuS is playing it safe. He made his own defensive links, and now we're going to have a little link battle. Who is better in the tango? Actually, that's pretty damn decent for Bernie. Wow, that's a great fight for him. He should be able to get at least, no, I won't say 1 drone. Well, he at least forced 1 drone to morph into an extractor, but in the end that was dead even. It felt like it looked really good for memOryfreak, Bernie, at one moment where I felt like he won with 3 or 4 links, but those drones in full HP against those low HP Zerglings, that's actually a pretty decent fight for the drones. Drones are not the greatest fight. Oh my god. I would be on tilt right now. I'd be like, alright, that's it. I'm making 28 links. I've had it with this guy. That's how most of my ZvZs go. Needless to say, I've got a 25% win record in ZvZ. The last time I played it. Look at this queen. This queen is like, alright, I did my injects. I'm coming. I know you're out there somewhere. There are 14 links on the way, actually. So this queen at least has done a job in pushing this overlord away. However, there is another overlord here that could potentially see links run around on both sides, but there is a chance that he can sneak them around. Yeah, he got it? Yeah, he was able to pick it off. Now these links are just going to run via the north side instead. These links from TomikuS are going to jump on the queen. TomikuS is supply block though. memOryfreak is actually wasting time here. Chasing these links is exactly what TomikuS wants you to do. However, he's morphing Banelings though. Over here on the right top side, so perhaps it's not the end of the world because he had to wait for those Banes anyway. But this is exactly what TomikuS needed, because TomikuS was supply blocked. He was building 3 overlords at once. He didn't have enough units. Now he should have enough units. Do we have any defensive Banes? We do, but only 2. They're about to show up here. These are the defensive Banes from TomikuS. They're trying to look for a decent connection there, and they do get it. But TomikuS is losing a lot of drones. And let's not forget about the Banelings from memOryfreak still coming in, connecting with a lot of Zerglings there, and perhaps getting 1 more drone. Yep, that's a low HP drone. It's gonna fall. The Baneling looked around and was like, sorry, buddy. You're the chosen one. He was too healthy. He was too healthy. It's like, ha! I have spotted the weakest link. Goodbye. And goodbye it was. So memOryfreak actually creating a pretty seizable advantage for himself. He's up 11 workers. ZvZ this phase in the game, that's massive. Safe to say that the ball is in TomikuS' corner now. He's going to try to return the favor by morphing 6 Banes. Wow, just barely. He couldn't have morphed them any closer to that overlord, but still not have been spotted. However, memOryfreak is also morphing a couple of defensive Banes. Looking for the connection, and he's gonna get it. Wow, that's a terrible trade for TomikuS. Well, man, memOryfreak is playing some fantastic StarCraft. I feel a whole lot better about getting destroyed by him just last night. I was like talking to my viewers, I was like, guys, he's really good, okay? And people like, lol, wrecked. I was like, he's really good. Now everybody can see that he is indeed really good. He's playing awesome. I had him as a small underdog in this best of 3, and of course it's not over yet. And TomikuS is not down and out, as he's actually having a very successful run by here. He's going to be able to pick up a couple of drones, and he gets the queen as well. The links from memOryfreak, right when I started to praise him, that good old caster curse, were way out of position, and he took a lot of damage. This was completely unnecessary because he had the units to defend this. He just kind of lost track of these fast... bailing! Oh my god, that's a decent hit there for TomikuS. But I think there's enough links left for memOryfreak to deal with it. Now there are 7 roaches on the way though. And our German Zerg is still up by 9 workers. And with 7 roaches on the way and 9 workers up, all he has to do is kind of just hang in there a little bit longer. These links are annoying, but the first roach is out. More links showing up and more roaches as well. I don't think a single roach should fall here. And now I truly wonder what TomikuS is going to do. It seems like he just wants to drone up, but that's going to be risky because that will give perhaps the opportunity for a German Zerg to run across the map with the roaches. He still has to worry though about all these links that are right outside. A couple of roaches are going to hold the fort down. Oh, that's not a wall up. Yeah, no it is. We've all been there. 2 Banes trying to be sneaky. Zovro is like, sup guys? Abyssal is beautiful, isn't it? Yeah, we ain't here. Now, perhaps they were baiting these roaches out of position. The Link's gonna try to go for the wraparound, and they do get it. There are no upgrades on either side. Good micro though, morphing a couple of these roaches into a Ravager. So in the end, only a single roach went down. That was definitely the right way to deal with it. 2 Banelings sneaking into the natural. Oh my god, I feel like I'm Funka over here on steroids. Guys, I'm catching everything. I hope Funka's watching, because Funka, I'm making you proud right now, aren't I? This one Ravager is kind of by itself. Will get picked off. Nice little pick off there. But there is still that lead. I mean, this all comes down to the economic lead that memOryfreak or Bernie has created for himself. In the beginning of this game, these links from TomikuS won't be able to get anything done, and this is actually a massive Zerg army that's marching across the map now. TomikuS decided to, perhaps his way into this game was going to be by an upgrade advantage, but I feel that Bernie is not going to give him the time for that at all. As he's moving out with these roaches now, that's a very ballsy move, because there's a lot of Zerg here. The links are going to be able to get the wraparound. There's a couple of Ravages in the mix as well. These corrosive balls do miss, but I feel like there is just way too much here for the German Zerg. And TomikuS is in a heap of trouble here in game number 1 in Abyssal. He knows it as well. GG. Good game by Bernie, aka memOryfreak. Very impressed. That was a solid ZvZ. That was a fun ZvZ, a very action-packed one, where the initial trade, build otherwise, it didn't really seem to be in favor, even though that's, you know, that's a very minor advantage for TomikuS. But memOryfreak still handled it well. After that, the Link Bane phase, at first it looked even, and then once or twice, big connections, especially the 2 defensive Banes that connected with those 6 Banelings of TomikuS. That was great, and from that point on, it's like, alright, you know, you've created the economic advantage already on the other side of the map, and you just had flawless defense. So he went for the Roach War and got his roaches out, held the fort, and solid. Very, very solid. So we're just gonna wait for game number 2. While we wait for game number 2, I'm going to refresh the bracket real quick and see if there's any upset that I can see. Ah, actually, I completely messed it up because the bracket wasn't updated. So this is getting confusing because at first I thought that memOryfreak was listed on the Bernie, and I was like, that's very weird because that doesn't make any sense. So it's not Bernie, I apologize. memOryfreak is listed on the Friend, or Friend, however you want to pronounce it, and Friend obviously is Ukrainian, so I was right initially that he was Ukrainian. And that also makes sense because he was representing Cascade, which is an Eastern European organization. So I apologize for the confusion. This was not Bernie. Bracket lied to me. I should have trusted my instincts and know that he was a badass Ukrainian Zerg. DNS advanced. Other than that, Strange beat Chabby. That's Lambo advanced, Denver advanced. Unfortunately, the Fighting Frog is out, who I thought was perhaps a random player. Majestic advanced, the Spanish Protoss. Yogo advanced. Yogo against Lillekanen. That's kind of fun. Mana has advanced as well, but he had a bye, so it would be very weird if he went out. Then we would have a real problem. Then I think we could start a Reddit thread. Mana has really lost it, hasn't he, guys? He had a round in the first. He had a bye in the first round, and he still got eliminated. How does that even happen? Dimaga against Indy, like that would have been a great game to cast. Actually, I'm kind of a little bit sad. I'm gonna ask my admin if he can hold it for us. Probably not. I guess we can only get one game of the second round. That makes me sad, guys. Because Dimaga against Indy. Dimaga is streaming a lot lately, and Dima's, of course. I mean, if you don't love Dima, you have no soul. There is nothing like not lovable about Dima. He's a great guy. He's a great player. And Indy is a very fun Polish Protoss who's also a streamer. So the battle of the streamers. That's something that always gets me going. All right. I feel a little bad about the confusion that I created. But I blame the bracket not being updated. And I blame memOryfreak for being listed on the friend. Or friend. Here we go. I'm ready. I should tell my admin as well. Okay, both players are ready, so never mind. I'm just gonna start game number 2 between these two awesome Zergs from Europe on Belshir Vestige. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the show. Once again, for the people who wonder, like, oh my god, why is he alone? Why doesn't he have a co-caster? Tomorrow, guys. Tomorrow, Todd will be with me. And then we'll have a rest day. And I want to say then we'll be back Friday and Saturday, but I have no idea what day it is today. It could be Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? Nice, it's Tuesday. So that's correct. So Tuesday and Wednesday we have the qualifiers, and Thursday we have off. And Friday and Saturday we have actual WCS Europe Challenger. It's going to be great. $10,000 on the line in total. Of course, not today, but if you make top 4 of your bracket today, you guarantee yourself a 400, which is sweet. Something you can work with. Something you can double or triple or tenfold if you just win in Austin, guys. Win a whole bunch of money. We are loaded into Belshir Vestige over here in the right bottom side. Looking at the main base of the Zerg from Czech Republic, it's TomikuS. And over here on the left top side of Belshir, I am so happy that he is indeed a badass Ukrainian Zerg. It's memOryfreak. In the bracket listed under friend. So once again, guys, not Bernie. I apologize for the confusion I created. I should have trusted my instincts. It only made sense. It's like, how can a guy called Bernie be memOryfreak? Because as far as I know, Bernie also plays Terran, but I wasn't 100% sure about that. It's been a while since I have casted one of these European tournaments. As we see, this time indeed a very aggressive opening. As not only is it pool way before hatch, it was a relatively early pool, I believe it was 14, I was too busy introducing TomikuS. But we also see the Baneling nest go down, there is still gas being mined. This Overlord does not spot those Zerglings, barely missed it. However, this Overlord is quite close to the natural, so at that point TomikuS will obviously know what's up. Let's take a look at the opening of TomikuS. That's TomikuS opened up pretty greedy in the economic way. When not only hatch first, but I feel that this pool was a tiny bit late as well. He's going to send a drone to the low ground. But right on this moment, he's going to see no creep. Is there a hatch at late? Oh my god, there's no hatch. You know what that means? Your base is under attack! That's always what happens. Right on that moment, that always happens against DTs. It's like, I wonder, why does this Protoss not have anything? And then the moment you're like, I think it's DTs, that's when you hear, shh, whoosh. And that's the sound of those invisible blades swiping down either your pylon or your spores or your supply depots. And that's when you know you're in trouble. Let's see what these Banelings can get done. TomikuS really doesn't have anything at all. He needs to buy time. He needs to have some phenomenal splits. Good job there. Oh my god, I love it. That's sexy. Still a couple of low HP drones. Actually bought enough time for the spine. You need to have the drones though. You need to wrap around. He's gonna lose the spine. Actually doesn't get the greatest engagement on the links either. But 5 drones is something... Oh, beautiful block on the queen there. That's awesome spawning pool placement. MVP spawning pool right here. But The only downside is that he didn't have enough money to start speed. So he's gonna have to defend with slow links. And, well, he has Banes actually. So, even if he has slow links, having Banelings is probably a lot more important than having speed. Absolutely. When I said probably, I was being sarcastic to myself, guys. So, this actually should be fine. That's a great hold by TomikuS. I was very worried. But first, a beautiful block with the 1 or 2 links that he did have. Then a beautiful block with the drone, another drone, and eventually the queen denying access to those Zerglings with speed as well. This time, it's going to be a lot harder for memOryfreak to get something done. This time it's TomikuS just making all the correct plays, getting a good trade there as well, especially since he's the player with the slightly better economy. I mean, I don't want to make it sound bigger than it is. It's 14 against 12 workers. But any advantage early on is a pretty big deal. These links gonna run in, but they'll run straight into Banelings. That wasn't the worst trade ever, because it was like 5 links against 2 Banes, so I'd say that kind of evens out. I guess TomikuS is quite okay with this. He has a lot of energy on his queens. Whew. Somehow he got 2 Banelings on the other side of the map, but 1 Baneling did get picked off. Good job by memOryfreak, leaving 1 or 2 links behind. And he's going to be able to trade out this happy Baneling for a Zergling as well. That poor Bane. He had a brother, and they looked at each other and he's like, you do it. It's like, why me, man? It's like, you know that I would catch a Baneling for you. Alright. One Zergling had to pay the price. Seems like memOryfreak is not done yet. Even though he's going back to droning now, so he's sort of done, guys. But he's gonna make one final attempt here. 2 more Banes, couple links running into the main, perhaps hoping that a couple of these drones still low on HP, but that health point regeneration can be very frustrating to go up against if it's not on your side. However, these links might be able to get a drone. Nope. Obviously, he tried to sneak these links into the main, morph them into Banelings, but TomikuS is not gonna fall for that. He knew there were 2 Zerglings in his base. Overall, great defense so far by TomikuS. A much better performance from our Czech Republican Zerg. Even though I really did not feel that he played poorly in game 1, I just felt that memOryfreak played great. As 2 Overlords are on the way. Speed is about to finish up for TomikuS. Obviously, that was a little bit later because he used the gas initially to defend the Speedlings and Banes with his own defensive Banes, which obviously was the correct call. The going speed early on doesn't help you if your opponent has more Banes than you, unless you have godlike micro. But even then, I would say, but still, it's going to be hard. Both players can try to go up to 3 bases. Army supplies are very small on both sides, so it would be very unlikely that either player can truly get much done. TomikuS should probably have like 1 or 2 links here, because you don't really want to trade out Banelings for... Ooh, okay, that's decent there. That 1 Bane was going to fall anyway, so in the end memOryfreak was still able to take 2 Banelings down from TomikuS. ZvZ is a matchup where every small advantage does matter, and those trades may seem insignificant, but if you do that 3, 4, 5 times, suddenly you're going to have a fight where you have 5 more Banelings than your opponent, and then it's going to be incredibly difficult. As the Roachborn is being thrown down on the top side of the map for our Ukrainian Zerg, and this time he's going to throw down an Evo chamber as well. This is a building he did not go for at all previous game, but he didn't need it. He analyzed the situation, he saw, and he knew it was good, the attack that was. And it was. The very first time he truly ran across the map, he won. This time I think it's going to be a lot harder, because he does not have the same advantage. TomikuS is also already had his own Evo, and he's getting +1 carapace, which I find interesting. That gives my... Oh! Big connection there. Funka would be so proud that I called that one too, because that one kind of came out of the blue. Is that 1 Bane does not really get much done. I was about to say, it gave me the idea that TomikuS wants to play a Link Bane style here, because obviously carapace helps out a lot against the Roaches, that even if the Roaches have +1, it will still take them 3 hits, and obviously you can survive the Baning as well. Actually, the Roaching is not important, but what I meant is that if TomikuS can get +1 carapace, if his links run into a Baneling from memOryfreak, then he will actually be able to survive the hit. All the links will be incredibly low on HP, but a link with 1 HP can do just as much damage as a link That's full on HP. So Carapace is a very, very important upgrade for Lynx in these early game skirmishes. He's gonna run by. +1 attack is also fantastic, but it's more about just keeping your Lynx alive. TomikuS is trying to find an opening, but he's not really getting it done. And you can try that once or twice, but on a certain point, memOryfreak will probably analyze the situation and be like, hey, okay, now actually TomikuS is getting +1 and he's starting up 11 roaches as well, so that's interesting. I guess he was just far enough ahead to do that. I mean, he's still ahead by 8 workers. So all these Lynx, even though he threw them away, he did create the economic advantage for himself. He forced memOryfreak to stay on his side of the map, worry about those Lynx, worry about the Baneling run-bys. Meanwhile, created a small but seizable economic advantage for himself. Needs to buy a little bit of time though, because the army of... oh, good job there. I love those little moves. If Tilo was watching, he'd approve. Every Zerg out there would approve. So TomikuS should have enough, I'd say. I mean, he's got Carapace. He had +1 missile attacks on the way. He cancelled it because he saw this attack incoming. He's like, all right, I don't need +1 missile attacks on the way now. What I need is units out. Make sure I don't die. I like my position. I know that I've been getting a couple of good trades. I know my economy is better than yours. I just need to survive. These Ravages are going to make things a little bit complicated, though. It's very important he avoids the corrosive balls, and so far he is doing that. But these Lynx are kind of messing with the AI of these roaches. The Queen gets picked off as well, but now TomikuS' reinforcements are coming in. Now his Lynx will show up. memOryfreak has a couple of units running across the map, but these Ravages, they have a lot of DPS, but they're very squishy. This is a very close fight, incredibly hard to call. I think TomikuS has enough in the end because of the upgrades as well, really helping out a lot. There's a few drones are going down on both sides. I believe there's a couple of Lynx being... Oh my god, these 3 Lynx! Very good job, actually shift-clicking on all these drones as well, getting the majority of these drones in the natural. And for memOryfreak, this was already an incredibly important attack, but right now it just became even more important, and this could very well be the end as the Ravages get surrounded. GG, TomikuS evens up the series. 2 players that I think are very evenly matched, as you guys can see. That was a fun game. Very good game, some cool decisions, cool skirmishes. And while in the previous game I felt that memOryfreak was the player that had not only good offense, but incredibly solid defense, this time it was TomikuS who just, early game, I feel he did almost everything right. As the admin is contacting me, is game 3 needed? I was like, yeah, let's do it. We can also flip a coin. I mean, that's pretty cool as well. It's like, guys, great performance in game 1 and game 2. Let's see who advances. And tilt. No, we'll play game 3. But yeah, this time it was TomikuS with the good early game defense against the Lynx and the Banes. And then also still finding some openings on the other side of the map. And eventually, you know, creating that small economic advantage. 32 drones against 40. Once again, that seems like, yeah, that's 8 workers is a pretty big deal, but is that enough to win a game? Yeah, if that goes on for like a minute and a half and 2 minutes and you're both making the same units, that's massive, especially that it's not 2 bases, it's 3 bases. So it's not only that he has, you know, a couple extra workers on the second base that are not 100% efficiency. It's like, no, he split them over 3 hatcheries. So, yeah, I know. I made it. Now the admin is telling me, he's like, this is a match of the round of 64, and Francis is from Ukraine. I was like, yeah, I know. Already made a fool of myself. Not totally though. I had it right first until the bracket lied to me. So making sure that both players are ready. Yes. memOryfreak or friend. Well, we're just gonna call him memOryfreak because I like that name. He's ready. TomikuS perhaps needs a moment. But yeah, having those 8 workers spread over 3 bases makes a big difference, and you can truly see it. It took some time for memOryfreak to make his way across the map, and by the time that he was finally there, it looked close, and I think it was close for a while. But the 2 Lynx on the other side of the map, killing those 7-8 drones, I think that's massive, because that made this, at first, I would call it designated pressure, to quote no regret. Like, it was pretty all in, but maybe if you just like kind of trade evenly, and yeah, you're down an upgrade, but if you can get the queens and a couple of drones, and maybe the game can go on. But then if you lose 8 drones at home, like, yeah, okay, now I'm 16 workers behind, now it's totally over. So it was fun. Game number 3 is going to be played on Newkirk. We are already in, and once again, we've got a early pool But first, we're gonna introduce a Ukrainian Zerg spawning on the right bottom side of Newkirk. Representing Cascade from Ukraine, it's memOryfreak. And over here on the left bottom side, looking in the main base of a Zerg from the Czech Republic, he is busting out the 12th pool. It's TomikuS. 12 pool with an early extractor as well against the hatch first. So the tables are turned. I love it how these guys switch it around. Game 1, memOryfreak was even though he started off aggressively, after that he was defending for a while. Game number 2, TomikuS was the defender. Game number 3, TomikuS is going to be the aggressor. So we've pretty much seen it all. Game number 1, they kind of were a little bit of both, just to even out the score. It's a lot of links on the way immediately. 4 more being produced. He's going to run them via the north side, as he doesn't want to run inside of this first overlord. This second overlord, however, is taking a pretty interesting route. I'm not sure. I mean, with that spawning pool already being almost done as well, that's kind of decent. I mean, he sees them at least coming sort of in time. I guess that's sort of supposed to happen as well with the second overlord. There's no need to send it via the same route. But now he knows immediately what's up. There is speed on the way. Baneling is being thrown down as well. So TomikuS, with all that aggression, he could potentially jump on this spine immediately, and that's exactly what happens. And not only does he get the spine, gets that drone as well, and he's gonna do some work. He has to be careful though, because if those links get surrounded, his attack is almost done. But so far he's doing a really good job. He's picking off a drone here and there, and he's also denying the mining. This is actually very annoying because you kind of need that money, as obviously there was no opportunity to cancel the hatch. He has a queen on the way in the natural. There's a queen in the main now as well. That queen in the natural is going to be in a little bit of trouble though. I wonder if memOryfreak can keep it alive. He's going to bring the queen from the main as well. And so far this is all very good. 2 Banes are morphing. They're morphing over here. I like the defense so far. Oh, you gotta be careful. Okay, and he is careful. The Bane snipe is real. First Baneling gets picked off immediately in the second one as well. Wow. Our Ukrainian Zerg is making this look easy so far, as now he actually has enough links, but he doesn't have speed yet. So these speed links are gonna be annoying. They're gonna run into the main, jump on this spine. No cancel on the spine. But he needs to do a lot more, because losing your first 2 Banelings like that is catastrophic. I am no Drogo, and with that I mean I'm not a ZvZ expert, but I know that's really bad. However, this is incredibly good for TomikuS. The queens were a little too far out of position. Surprise Baneling cannot get the connection that TomikuS is dreaming of, but getting those 2 queens, things look pretty damn dicey. Getting the 2 queens is massive. Now it's links against links and 1 Bane, a very low HP Bane. Any additional queens? Yeah, that Bane will not get anything done, but 5 more Banelings. This is going to be the key moment in this game. These 5 Banes need to secure TomikuS' ticket to the round of 32. If he doesn't get anything done with them, I think it will end in the round of 64 for this man. He's gonna wiggle them into the main. Gets a sort of decent. It's still 4 Banelings though. This is really hard, I think, for memOryfreak. As only 1 Bane actually. Wow, he did such a good job in picking them off. 1 Bane survives. Wants to connect with the links, but sick micro there by the Ukrainian. However, there's still all these links that he has to worry about. Work account is even now, but so many low HP links. Actually, wow. Queen saved by the bell, taking it to the next level. Is this good enough? This couldn't be any closer. Once again, a ticket to the round of 32 is on the way. And after that, basically just 2 rounds. No, 3. You have to win 3 more rounds. But still, you're getting close. These links gonna pick off 1 or 2 more drones. Wow, good job there. memOryfreak for somehow able to get another Bane. I think our Ukrainian Zerg has done it, guys. I mean, it's still 2 hatches against 1. There is a queen out now again. If he wouldn't have lost these queens before, by the way, this would have been 1,000 times easier for him. But the fact that he lost those 2 queens, and I think he's still getting it done. I have no idea how he was able to snipe those 4 Banes that were making its way into his main base. But he got it done. And he's sort of out of the woods. And TomikuS, I think, wants to expand, but he knows that just expanding now is not what he's been dreaming of. That's not what his sweet dreams are made of. And some people might say like, wow, It's 12 workers against 11. Is this really that bad? It's pretty bad, because by the time that this hatchery is done, memOryfreak should have a pretty decent economic advantage. And it's not the only advantage he has. Actually, he has an advantage in army supply as well. I mean, he had the Overlord here. He's going to see now as well that this hatchery has just started. Wow, that's not supposed to happen either. TomikuS is a little bit sloppy there. One very low HP Zergling, forcing one of these banelings to detonate. TomikuS needs to pull off a small miracle. I know numbers-wise this game looks a little close. Again, not the best trade. I mean, memOryfreak is like, cool, this is awesome. I can trade Zerglings for banelings. All right, next one. It's like, one more time. Daft Punk's playing in the back. Music got me feeling so free. I'm here to detonate a baneling, and he does it again. That was a great for a Ukrainian Zerg, and TomikuS is getting a little too sloppy right now. I actually think he's gonna be in. I mean, he's lucky that memOryfreak is droning up, because if memOryfreak wasn't droning up, then I think he would have just been overrun here, or he would be forced to make even more defensive paints. But the fact that memOryfreak is droning up is also not good for TomikuS, because, like I said, guys, the work count looked very close before. Look at it right now, 27 against 16. I mean, that is just an incredibly large economic advantage for a ZvZ, especially when it's still this low on tech. I mean, still working with these basic tier 1 units, almost doubling the economy of TomikuS. And I am pleasantly surprised and impressed by memOryfreak. I've played against this young man more than once over the last week, and I definitely felt like, all right, this is a very good player. But, you know, a lot of people feel like very good players when I play against them, because, you know, many people suddenly feel very good, guys. I'm sure you guys are familiar with that feeling. It's like, oh, let's play a ladder game. It's like, oh my god, I'm playing against the son of Nesty, or how are these kids so good? But it's good to see him here as well in the WCS Europe Austin Qualifier for Challenger. Having a strong performance so far. Not only advancing in the first round, but also in round 2. Against a pretty well-established Zerg. That is TomikuS. TomikuS obviously doesn't want to give up. I mean, there's money on the line, potentially, if you go far enough. If you make it to tomorrow, or well, to Friday, I should say. The second phase. There are 8 players, of course, already seeded into Challenger for Europe. Those were the 8 highest ranked players that played enough games on the European ladder. From the top of my head, those 8 are showed. Ooh, this is cute, actually. This is a real Bly move. Elevating a couple of Zerglings into the main. And these Lings are morphing into Banes. That is one way to potentially sort of force a comeback. It's not going to be easy, but I mean, if he gets like 12 drones here, is memOryfreak paying attention? No, he's not. Wow, that's 9. It's not 12, but it's still pretty damn good. What is he going to do about all these roaches that are running across the map, though? To finish my sentence, before the 8 players already in the main bracket are Showtime and Harstem for Protoss, Uthermal for Terran, and then we've got 5 Zergs, Snoot, Nurcho, Namchar, TLO, and Elaser. If I didn't mess this one up, but I don't think I did. A couple other guys were very close. Notable mentions were Lambo, DNS, a few others. But those are the 8 for now. As TomikuS is once again going to try to load a few more Lings into the main. It was a cute move. It's a move that I saw Bly do quite often, especially last year during Bly's phenomenal run at WCS Dreamhack Leipzig. 2016, Bly made it to the final, had a couple of great ZvZ victories over Violet and Hydra, and he used that move multiple times. And since that day, in my eyes and in my book, it's a real Bly move. TomikuS is going to try to defend here. That's actually pretty decent. That's like as good as he could have hoped for. Yeah, there's too much here for our Ukrainian Zerg. Too many roaches. Spines can be pretty good defensively, but against this many roaches, that is an unfair battle. TomikuS was just a little too far behind, as the last few Lings and Banes will get picked off. And memOryfreak, our Ukrainian Zerg, who did lose almost all of his drones, by the way, he really needs to win the game here, otherwise this would be a sick throw. Will secure his ticket to the round of 32. Well done. That's an impressive performance by our Ukrainian Zerg. I am pleasantly impressed. I think going into this series, I had TomikuS as a small favorite, just because I've seen TomikuS at some lands, like I mentioned, the WESG European Qualifier, where he took a map, I believe it was of Nurcho. He did a little fist bump, that's what I remember. He's like, yeah! I didn't see the game, but I heard him scream. So I figured, you know, he has a little bit more experience playing for these stakes, but memOryfreak with an impressive performance, as I already have another invite. All right, guys. So